All right, so it sounds like we are ready for our next run. We have Axiom Verge 2 with SaberaMesia. Take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm SaberaMesia, and today I am going to be running Axiom Verge 2, No BS, All Earns. As everybody knows, BS stands for boomerang steering, which is technically not a glitch, but it is disallowed in this category, as are all glitches. So if you think you see a glitch, no you didn't. With me here today, I have the absolutely wonderful Emray. And Emray, do you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello everyone.
Emray graciously agreed to commentate this run and learned everything about it on Monday. And I really, really appreciate you taking the time to join us like that. We are going to go ahead and get started with this run in 3, 2, 1, go. So in contrast to Axiom Verge 1, where you play as a theoretical physicist who wakes up inside of an egg in a strange alien world, in Axiom Verge 2, you instead play a billionaire who lands in Antarctica on a helicopter. This sets the stage for a lot of contrasts between these two games. The general playstyle of running and jumping has not changed, as is going left to go right. I did, however, save quit out of picking up my first weapon, which is an ice axe, and the only weapon we're going to use for the entire game, because during this segment of the game, there is no respawn animation when you reload the game. So that was actually faster by a little bit than walking back. We're going to do that one more time before we leave Antarctica forever. Currently, the power in this station is off. We've come here to investigate the entire staff of the station going missing because it has some connection to our protagonist's missing daughter. And so we're going to go ahead and turn the power back on in the station and try to figure out what's going on. We're going to head right back in here, and it turns out that there's a secret panel here leading to a cargo elevator, and when you see a spooky cargo elevator, you should always go in, ducking, of course, under the shutter so that you can go into it a little bit faster. Flashing lights warning. We are now in an alternate dimension from which we cannot return. Welcome to Boomer Coanger. No, wait, that's not right. It's called Kinger, I think. We never really find out how to pronounce it, but it looks a lot like Antarctica. This is the glacier. There's a do not enter sign there, but we're going to enter anyway because there's really nowhere else for us to go. We're going to go ahead and descend downward into a place that looks like it had people here at some point. If we were playing in story mode, a mysterious voice would call out to us and we would kind of be wandering over there. We would also pick up that amulet to help us find the urns that we're going to be picking up, which, by the way, there are 18 of them. We're going to fall over a collapsing bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 swim strokes in the water. And then we're going to swim back into this stone so that we can clip ourselves in and drown as fast as possible. As soon as we're flailing horizontally, I'm going to bring up this menu, which is going to make me drown up to 1 second faster than I would if I hadn't brought up the menu. Not really clear why, but once we successfully drown, we will collect our first urn of the run, a Mashilama. That crashing sound that you heard is the Mashilama urn getting collected, or rather collecting itself for us. And now our body has been replaced with a cloud of nanites that does not need to breathe, but also is too heavy to swim. It also means that we can use save alters, and anytime we save quit with Indra, she's going to have that long wake-up animation we just saw. So we're going to use save quits somewhat judiciously for the moment. In contrast with Axiom Verge 1, enemies don't always have contact damage in this. Many enemies, such as these drones, only do damage when they are actually attacking you. So we're going to just kind of dip through them down this large shaft, and we're going to go pick up the boomerang, which we're going to need to open, to hit some switches and open a gate. But we are absolutely not going to steer the boomerang under any circumstances. I want to talk a little bit about what that means. So this game, like the first game, has the ability to lock yourself in place to aim. If you do that while you are recalling the boomerang to you, which is a thing that you can do after you throw it, you can control its direction direction. You can make it arc a little bit. And because when the boomerang is being recalled to you, it can pass through walls, you can hit switches that you were never meant to hit, as well as striking items, because you do need to strike urns in order to open them, with the exception of the Amashalama urn. And so by disallowing this, we have a couple of things that are restricted to us. And we are still going to use our boomerang to pick up our second urn here, Ninnersag. Ninnersag is power grip. That's it. It's power grip. So now we can climb onto these ledges, and this will allow us to escape from the glacier and move on to Mount Eben, where we will go ahead and proceed with our search for our missing daughter and all of the people who were in the Jones station in Antarctica. Whew. Big deep breath.
Yeah.
We're just gonna run down the mountain at this point. One thing about this is slopes are really weird in this game. They basically didn't exist in Axiom Verge 1 except for a couple of very specific places. In this game, they're all over the place, and they almost always slow us down. We are not going to be taking a save there. So we're going to come into this room. We're going to throw our boomerang and, just missed it. If I had exited the door before the boomerang had actually hit the urn, it would have canceled the animation. I would have gone through the door and the freeze animation there would not have happened. That is not considered a glitch. So again, if you think you see a glitch, no, you didn't. We missed that. It only loses about 5 seconds, but it's, usually 5 free seconds, so you do, generally speaking, want it. One other thing is you'll see me clobbering bushes as I go. The reason that I'm doing that is because if you run through a bush, it slows you down. Just like in real life.
True.
Video games are like real life, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing abnormal happening at all.
Yeah, totally. So I'm going to throw my boomerang to knock that remote mine, these little rolling explosives, out of the way so that I can just keep on going with stopping for it. And we are on our way to collect our third urn of the run, which is called Mushhus. If you played Axiom Verge 1 or watched any speedruns of it, you will be familiar with the glitch mechanic of Axiom Verge 1. In Axiom Verge 2, this is replaced with hacking. And so we are going to go ahead and hack this platform to carry us up there so that we can get back out of here. And then we're going to hack this platform so that we can carry it out. We're going to hang off the edge so that those shots miss us. And go ahead and whack another bush. We're doing a lot of bushwhacking. In this room, I am going to run with this guy, this little walker thing, in a very specific way to prevent it from shooting at me at an inopportune time. I'm also going to go ahead and whack another bush there. I did a little wiggle to avoid that. And we're gonna actually save the game for a change, because we are going to be taking a save warp very soon. But all of this hacking will get us to our fourth urn out of 18. There are 18 urns in this run. This is kind of the equivalent of all skills in something like Hollow Knight, which is a Damu. Damu is a little boy who was turned into an artificial intelligence thing that lets me throw a drone. Drones being somewhat familiar, hopefully, if you are familiar with Axiom Verge. The drone is a little bit different in this game in a couple of very important ways. One, the drone is thrown rather than launched from a gun. Two, when you pop it in midair, it retains some of its momentum from the throw. So I am able to get the drone into this area that it is not supposed to be. And also, the drone can save the game, which was not true in Axiom Verge 1. And if you save the game with the drone, but you recall to Indra and save quit as Indra, Indra is the one who respawns at the save point. Why? I don't know. But she does, and that means that now Indra is in the Giguna steppes where she is not supposed to be yet. We are instead supposed to descend farther into Mount Eben in order to acquire an ability that lets us break rocks so that we can eventually get into here. But we're just going to get that a little bit later. Instead, by using this the sequence break to get in here early, we can pick up a wall climbing ability, which is... Whoop. Oh, no, wait. This is Ninnersag. is the wall climb ability. The urn that I picked up before that's power grip is Shishkala. I apologize. So we're going to pick that up and we're going to save warp again. Again, remember, Indra has a wake-up animation, so we're only going to do those things when it's necessary to get Indra somewhere she shouldn't be, or when it saves a lot of time, and having to walk back from the camp all the way back up here would have taken longer than the wake-up animation. So we are going to do that and move on into this little set of ruins over here.
Yeah. So
So-
if you're
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
sorry, if you're familiar with wall climbing in some Metroidvanias, it's not really infinite in this. It's kind of more like Celeste, where you like have a stamina meter.
Yes, that is very important. And one of the big things about the way that the stamina meter actually affects wall climbing here is every time you jump off of a wall, it costs you a big bunch of your stamina. And if you are low on stamina, you get less height off of your wall jumps. So I'm throwing the drone over here because the drone is now going to do something that only the drone can do. It's going to enter our very first breach pocket. In casual play, this would not be the first breach pocket that we enter, but only the drone can come in here, and it can't be recalled to Indra from here. It needs to find another breach portal in order to exit. Also, the music in here is really good. Just take a moment to appreciate this. Physics is also actually different inside of the breach in relatively small ways, but important ones later in the run. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But the reason that we've come into this breach pocket is because we need to acquire yet another urn in here. Ooh, did not want to do that. I was trying to be a little safe and not take damage there, but this is Eskiri. Eskiri is like a grappling hook slingshot thing for our drone. It can now grab onto corners on platforms and fling itself places. Oops, wow. That was a bad cycle. Whoa, hello. This is going to be a little bit weird and dicey. I am actually going to do something a little bit strange, and I apologize. I'm actually going to run back to a save point for health because that is actually be faster than taking a death. That is this is a boss, by the way, this thing right here. It's not the first boss that we've seen, but it's the first boss that I'm making mention of. All right. And we're going to go ahead and there we go. All right, cool. We're in the clear now.
Yeah, it's a good point to mention that most bosses in the game are entirely optional, and this category does not have to fight any with the exception of the final boss.
Yes. It is actually technically the case that you can go an entire run of this game without fighting any bosses at all. The final boss is not, strictly speaking, required in terms of gameplay. But because we collect all of the urns in this run, we do end up having to fight the final boss because the trigger for the final boss appearing is actually collecting one of these urns. So now that we've emerged out of here, we're actually able to, the game auto-saves us at this save point. So we're actually able to save warp Indra again, another place that she's not supposed to be, and sequence break yet again by jumping up here. We're going to hang off of this, jump here, throw the drone, and then let our drone momentum carry us up on top of this place, which we are not supposed to be able to reach yet. And then hang the drone across here, and this will get us in from Giguna Steppes into the sandy beaches of Iroquois, which is actually a fairly late game area. In Iroquois, we're going to be picking up the most important movement ability, aside from our Eskiri, our grappling hook. But before we can do that, we actually have to pick up second sight power for our drone. Well, actually, technically for both the drone and Indra, which is called Kilimak. So I'm going to come over here and whack this drone or whack this urn open. So an interesting thing about the breach in this game is that the breach world is actually completely overlaid on top of the regular world, if you will. By using Kilimak, we're actually able to see the breach. So this is all walls and open space in the breach. We're also able to reveal hidden breach portals. And so this is actually going to take us right into Verge. And this is our hover ability. Now, as a hover ability, Verge actually slows down your horizontal momentum when you start flying, unless you have extra momentum from using a skitty. So this is our movement tech for almost the entire rest of the run, is basically using a skitty to get a bunch of extra momentum and using Verge to preserve that momentum. There's a couple quirks to hovering. One of them is that you get a little bit of altitude raise off of your hover when you start it. It can run out. The other thing is if you start to hover and then you hit a screen transition, you can't rise anymore. Once you hit the screen transition, you can basically just delay descending to the ground. Here's another boss that we're going to walk just right past, completely optional. He's a good boy. We like him. I should give him a name one of these days.
What about Larry?
So now, oh yeah, Larry is a good name for that guy. So we're now moving out of Irikar and into Urim Valley, which is a jungle-like, semi-watery area. The next big important urn that we are going to grab is called Dune. And it's coming up right here. Oh, geez. There we go. This is Dune. Dune is fast travel. Dune is going to let us go to any save point that we want to, pretty much whenever we want to. And to facilitate that, we're going to go pick up another save point down here. I'm just visiting this to visit it so that I can come back to it later. I'm going to pop the drone, and I'm going to very, very carefully move my way back to Mount Eben Base Camp right here. The reason that I need to be careful is if you fast travel during a drone recall animation when it hasn't completely switched back to Indra yet, the game will crash. Because there is no active hero for it to fast travel. So you do have to be very careful about that because that can completely kill a run. Down here, we're going to find this big watery area. This is still all part of the Mount Eben area, I believe. I'm not totally sure of that. Don't quote me on it. Actually, no, I think we did maybe change areas here. I don't remember what this one is called because we spend very, very little time here. But we are coming here to basically get our equivalent of gravity suit, which is not something that existed in Axiom Verge 1. Another big important... Oh, my gosh,
So you're saying this is Meridia?
This is Meridia, yes. So this is Liru. An important difference between gravity suit and Liru is that Liru doesn't give us any damage reduction. There is, in fact, no damage... Well, no, there is damage reduction in this game. It's just... It's its own separate item. They're called nano lattices. There's 3 of them. We pick up 1. And the other thing is that it doesn't restore our movement in water to normal. We actually move faster and jump higher in water now than we ever do on land. So I'm going to do another recall here. I need to make sure, okay, good. The minimap changed. That's how I know the active hero has changed. The urn that I just picked up is called Good Anna. The important thing about Good Anna is it lets Indra explode into a cloud of nanites, and that allows her to break or dislodge certain rocks, which we will need to proceed. There used to be a minor glitch that would allow you to get past, to completely avoid picking this item up in any percent runs, but it's not. It actually got patched out. One of the ones that did, because if you are a casual player and you don't know what just happened, you can get. Oh, geez, I did that wrong. I was trying to get a reverse grapple boost there. It's possible to preserve that momentum as you turn around and turn it into forward momentum instead of backward momentum. It is a little tricky, though, so I'm not too surprised that I didn't get it. So we are actually about to go to another alternate dimension. Here, this is why I'm kind of going out of the way here. There is a kind of abandoned base camp up here, and inside of this warehouse, we're actually going to find, aside from these weird ghosties, which, why are they here? Another freight elevator, flashing lights warning. And the drone's hitbox is smaller than Indra's, so it can actually go into the elevator much earlier. Despite the fact that you can enter the elevator early, you can't exit the elevator early for some reason. The reason that I took the drone all the way here without doing anything with Indra is the game is actually going to hard save me to that save point that I just went past. And so I can't save warp out of here. I actually need to recall the drone. And we went and got Lyra before we came here because there is this big water pit in here, and we did not want to move Sloggy through that. So we're going to go ahead and pick up Imdug Beer. This is going to let us charge our slingshot up. And so the drone can actually now break through certain kinds of blocks by charging up the slingshot and barreling into them. Okay, please. Thank you. We are now going to pick up the urn that triggers the final boss fight. This is Anuman. We were supposed to, earlier in the game, go through a story sequence where Amashalama, the first urn that we pick up, steals our body and leaves us trapped inside of the drone. And then later on, you pick up the Anuman urn, which allows the drone to turn into a humanoid body. And that is how you return to having Indra. And so instead of throwing the drone now, I just morph back and forth. So this is kind of my morph ball now. So that's very silly, but also lots of fun. Another interesting thing about this is that when I switch back and forth between Indra and the drone, I get a little extra momentum in whatever direction I'm moving. So you can jump a little bit higher, walk a little bit faster, drop a little bit faster. And now we are in Anuna Gorge. We're going to pick up this. This is a nano lattice. It reduces the amount of damage we take. It is not strictly necessary for the run, but everything in here does ridiculous amounts of damage. I'm going to go ahead and pick up a little bit of health here. And to kind of facilitate this next climb. It doesn't actually break the cycle that I need. So I'm going to do something a little silly. Indra can't latch onto a laser wall if she jumps onto it, but she can climb them if she's already climbing for some reason. So we're going to do that to get up to the side here. We're going to use Imdugbir to give us a little bit extra momentum. Did I get it? Did I get it? No, I did not get it.
Oh, so close.
Yeah. So basically what's happening there is, if you remember what I told you about the drone not being able to ascend after a screen transition, switching back to, oh no, that happened. We're going to have to do this the hard way. Oh, geez. Wow, these things are really harshing my mellow. You know what? The fastest thing to do is actually going to be to fast travel back here and reset that whole situation.
Yeah, it's kind of bad news if that enemy sees you.
Yeah. Enemies in this game have kind of a like Metal Gear quality to them where they have that like seek behavior. So we're gonna make sure we can't save at that save point right now because we haven't fought the quote unquote mandatory battle that is supposed to be fought at that save point. So we do have to kind of, whoop, there we go. So let's set up for this again. So basically, transforming into Indra resets that quality of the drone hover. It also, switching back and forth, resets Indra's climb stamina meter, which is why I'm doing that the whole way up. And transform, and there we go.
Nice.
So this lets us skip a big chunk of the factory area in here and skip just kind of straight to the middle of it. Whoop. If we come in here with beep health, there is like a chance that we die on the way to the next save point, which would have also been bad. So I don't mind taking that safety and losing a little bit of time. Can you please latch onto the thing? You don't actually get to aim the grappling hook, it auto aims, so it can be a little bit finicky if you're not like quite at the right height. But we are going to take a safety save here because we are really coming up on what is possibly the worst room in the entire run. We're going to have to do a little bit of a side quest first, so I'll save talking about that. I'm going to slingshot myself through this and wait to hover until after I get through so that my hover can ascend. And we're going to egg. If you played Axiom Verge 1, the eggs will look familiar to you. We haven't seen them for a lot of this run. They aren't as present on Kinger, but they are in this factory. And it takes us to another alternate dimension. This is 2 times that we've gone to alternate dimensions that are not home from the alternate dimension that we went to from home to start the game. There's a lot of alternate dimensions going on in this game. It's a lot. So if you're having trouble keeping track of it, don't worry, so do I. But the main reason that we are here is so that we can hack a giant egg. So let's do that. Okay, great. We hacked a giant egg. And now we can get out of here. What that's going to do is it's going to open the door that lets us proceed to the worst room in the game, Spider Heck 2 Electric Boogaloo. If you're wondering why it's Spider Heck 2, Spider Heck 1 is actually in Axiom Verge 1. It is pretty much only seen in 100% and 100% items. The big deal with Spider Heck 2, actually, you know what? Do you want to take Spider Heck 2 while I actually do the room?
I don't remember too much about it. I just know that spiders in Metroidvania games are always terrible 100% of the time.
Oh, God. I did it wrong. This is going to be... I'm glad that I took the save. Oh, wow. I actually jumped into that enemy.
Oh, no.
Well, this is why I took the safety save. So basically, the spider enemies in that room are, they're extremely fast. They are palette swaps of the spider things that were on the bridge when we were trying to get in here. The main things about them are they move way, way faster and they do more damage. So I actually have to hack them to make them slow. You are the wrong one. It is very important that I hack the correct one because that one's going to jump over me. I do still have to hack it because otherwise it will just come back for me. This one, I need, again, to make sure that I'm hacking the right enemy because the little ball does not matter. There, and that's the last spider in this room. So that's actually that's how that room is supposed to go. A little jump here to bait that bullet and get myself over here. And now we're in the clear because there is a save point here and we're going to be moving on to a breach pocket soon anyway. So that was Spider Heck is always a risk factor, which is why that safety save is there. So we're now back out of Anuna Gorge and into the glacier. So welcome back to the first area of the game. Always like to go back to home in the late game. And we're going to pick up an item that is not an urn. That is the breach attractor. That lets me pull breach portals to my location. Never mind. I'm not going to futz with that then. It's possible to launch yourself off of that corner to get extra momentum coming into this room. But I'm going to come down here. I need some focus here for this very difficult breach section. All right, cool. So we got our next urn, Halam. Thank you for bearing with me through that very difficult portion. And Halam lets us exit the breach wherever we want to, as long as it's as long as it's not overlaid with what? Why won't you let me? There we go. I guess probably because I was mid-transform. So, the breach and the real world are overlaid with each other. So as long as you're exiting the breach somewhere that has free space in the real world, it'll let you just kind of do that wherever. And so fast traveling back here, we're finally going to get to see the breach of the glacier, the first area of the game. It is one of the last pieces of breach that we enter. So this area, like a lot of these late game areas, is just full of things that do ridiculous amounts of damage. There are these little laser orbs. So I'm going to go ahead and hack this one to sync with me. So that's only going to attack when I attack, and it's going to move in the direction that I move. The lasers from those laser orbs do lots of damage, but the orbs themselves don't. So intentionally taking a hit from an orb there to avoid taking a hit from its laser. This room, these rotating spikes can really catch you. And it can be... that was not really what I was hoping for. I'll just go the long way. It is technically possible to slip through there, but it is fairly difficult. And so I'm not that surprised that I did not make it this time. We're going to go ahead through here. I'm actually going to take this save, even though I probably don't need it. And we're just going to continue flinging ourselves. These columns, again, their bullets do lots of damage, but the enemies themselves do not do that much damage. So we're just going to take body shots as much as possible. It is not true of every enemy that has contact damage that the body shots are less damaging than the bullets. So you can't take that for granted. Another optional boss that we're just going to fly over. We do love to fly past bosses. They look very scary, but they're really not. They're just warm and cuddly, and they want a hug. We're going to breach attract another portal here. So the person who is sitting next to that pillar over there is actually the rival billionaire whose company we bought to get access to the Jones base in the first place. Coming back through a little bit more of Glacier Portal, we are going to go ahead and use Halam to exit here. And now, so Amashalama was supposed to steal our body. So when we abandoned it and picked up Anuman, she just went ahead and stole our body anyway. And now she's stealing this kind of eldritch horror. And in this room, we come to this room so that we can pick up Tilhar. That is mist. This is our form of mist. So there are several places in this game, I haven't talked about them, that have grates. And, mist could pass. So now we have mist. But we do only have 16 urns at this point. I don't know if you've been keeping count. But so there's 2 more that we have to go ahead and pick up. So very, very early in the run, we picked up Ra. That was when we kind of went into a little hut and, oh no, you need to come here. And so we're gonna back away. This is actually the breach that we would have gone into to get to the body swapping or the body snatching segment of the game. But we didn't do that, so now we have an opportunity to kind of take a back door into this, which puts us closer to where we're going. I didn't talk too much about what Ra does when I picked it up. It is a charged melee attack for Indra. So she can kind of charge up her melee attack, and some of the weapons in the game actually interact with that in really interesting ways, and if you're playing casually, I encourage you to explore. But this is Usan Ra, which is a charged attack for the drone. We don't use either of these in the run. They are not actually that important in that respect. But we do have to go and pick up one more urn. The final urn in the game is back here in the glacier, and we needed mist to get to it, which is why we didn't pick it up on our way. So if you were curious, why we didn't do that. So this is Spider Heck 3. Spider Heck 3 is not as bad as Spider Heck 2. It's very easy to just kind of float over things with a combination of mist and hover, and these little bouncy boys will knock you around. See, they're very springy, and at
least they don't do contact damage.
Yes,
because that would make it way worse.
So they actually can pin you and do contact damage. Oh no, I activated the spider. It's fine, we're fine, everything's fine. So here's this gate, mist could pass. We're just gonna buffer a hover through this door, and that's gonna take us right over this little spike shooting enemy who does millions of points of damage, and we really don't want to get hit by him. And this gives us our final urn, Zal 2. Zal 2 makes it so we don't have to charge up our drone attack to get the charge effect anymore. It just happens whenever we slingshot onto something. And now we're ready to go face the final boss of the game, the only boss fight that we actually have to do in this run. With qualifications. There's a big asterisk next to that. It's important to note that we're actually not capable of doing real damage to the final boss. It's basically a puzzle fight, sort of. We're trying to activate a bomb that will prevent Amashalama from getting access to a big cache of weapons that she would use to kind of destroy the world. And so we need to set that bomb to detonate, but she's going to try and stop us. The thing about that is that she's not actually very good at her job. she's going to appear as soon as I hit the first of these buttons that arm the detonator. So now we start a cutscene. And now she's going to come and try to goop all of these so that we can't get them, but we can sneak 3 out of the 4 of them before she does anything. Now, if we hadn't gotten those, on the last 2, she would have put barriers in front of these buttons to stop us from hitting them. But because she doesn't do it for the first one that you hit, we get to skip that entire phase of the boss battle. Our old body comes in to save us because it gets its consciousness back when she leaves the body, I guess. So even though we're nanites, our old body came to hang out with us. And now we have a Metroid-style escape sequence, as one must. We basically just get to fling ourselves the whole way. Ooh. You, and up and out. And that is the run. This is time.
You did so
I
good.
apologize. I apologize very much for not calling time ahead of time. But that is Axiom Verge 2. All urns, no BS. You can tell that I got all of the urns because I have 11% items. If you collect all of the urns and exactly the set of weapons in the run, that gets you to 11%. And that's it. That's everything. There is 2 deaths. There is the one that I took that I did not want to take. And then there was, that was in Spider Heck. And then there's the 1 mandatory drowning at the beginning of the run. Emray, thanks so much for joining me. I kind of talked to you for most of the run, but I appreciated having you here. I'm really, really sorry. We didn't really have time for donations. This is a very active run. Again, big apologies for that. But thank you so much for having me, and I hope you all enjoyed the run.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sabera. That was an incredible run. Tons of fun to watch and completely action-packed. So let's get some claps in chat for Sabera. That was amazing. We have $180 from Zanuck, who says, Sabera, congrats on the awesome run. You've definitely earned it. And here's $10 an earn if I've counted correctly. Let's fast travel these donations to Malala Fund. Awesome. Thanks, Zanuck. We had $25 from Jess, who said, never seen this game before, but it looks rad. I agree. Super cool run. Absolutely incredible. All right, going back to some donations from before too, we had Eye of Newt come in with $10 saying, here's my 10 for hitting the swag portal during the run. Thank you, Frostbitals, for having me. And here's to 100K. All right, and checking in on our incentives, we have some brand new ones that are open, so make sure you're checking those out. We have a Gato Roboto color palette swap, and you'll see there are lots of different options that you can choose from. Right now, purple and teal is in the lead, so if you want to see a different color palette, considering donating for that. We also have a couple of Hollow Knight incentives that are open right now that you may have not seen before. We have Hollow Knight Path of Pain, which we need $6,000 to unlock that incentive. Right now we're sitting at $250, so let's keep pushing for that so we can see some incredible Hollow Knight action. We also have a fun incentive that might appeal to some longer watching fans of Games Done Quick events. For Hollow Knight, we have Save or Kill the Nailsmith. You must be very familiar with the save or kill objectives if you've been around for a while. Right now, Save is in the lead with $42.50, and Kill is sitting at $10. So what will be the Nailsmith's fate? Let's find out. Hopefully they don't meet with a terrible fate. Our grand total of the day so far is sitting at $68,533.07. Now, that 7 cents reminds me of our lucky number of the day, lucky number 7. As we had talked about a while back in the shift here, if we hit $77,777.77, we will unlock Hollow Knight Pantheon of Hollow Nest. So it's a boss rush of every boss in the game, and that is if we hit the $77,777.77. So keep that number 7 on the brain, and we will see if we hit that awesome incentive. We have another $50 donation from Rose, who says, awesome stream for an awesome cause. Gotta put this towards one of my favorite games and always have to save Nailsmith. All right, well, this has been the end of my time with all of you on Frost Fatales. My name is lanaruse, and I have been your host for this segment. This event means so much to me as a woman in gaming and speedrunning, and Malala Fund is a cause very close to my own heart as well. So chat, you better keep it going. You better keep the ball rolling. We're super excited to see how the rest of the event will shape up. In the meantime, I will be leaving and passing you over to Zokabun, who will be keeping you company for the next few runs. Thanks so much for hanging out for Frost Fatales. Enjoy the rest of the event, and we'll catch you right after this break.
Sure. So you'll be counting me in? Great. Welcome back to Frost Fatales 2022. I'm Zokabun, and I'm so pleased to be back on the mic with you lovely folks today. Coming up next, we have Gato Roboto, run by Eliza. You might have seen her run WarioWare actually just yesterday with her sister. But today, she's running solo. And folks, do you love cats? I like cats. And if so, you're not going to want to miss this. Just before that, though, we've got a couple of donations to read. First off, we've got $10 from Mist Op. Mist Op, also an amazing runner, did Dusk just yesterday. $10 for Swag Portal in Fancy Pants. Bree, thank you so much for having me on commentary again. Loved it as always, and you nailed it. Best of luck to all the runners, and let's keep raising money for a great cause. And yes, once again, That amazing cause is Malala Fund. Malala Fund's working for a world where all girls can learn and lead. Malala Fund advocates for resources and policy changes needed to give all girls a secondary education, invests in local education leaders, and amplifies the voices of girls fighting for change. You can learn more at malala.org. And of course, if you tune in a little early every day, our runs start at 2 p.m., but we always have an interview from amazing people working with Malala Fund right before that, done by our very own amazing Kung Fu Fruit Cup. So, come in a little early, hang around, learn some things about people learning things. I have $25 here from Anonymous. No comment, but thank you so much for your generous donation. And of course, just a reminder that any donation you make during this day makes you eligible to win some of the amazing prizes that we have. Each prize block is heard by the day. So, if you don't donate today, you miss out on it. Coming up, actually, we do have a Gato Roboto ink painting by Kay Duffels. You might have seen their amazing artwork on Twitter, and now you have a chance to own it for your own at home. And it ties in with this upcoming run. You can check that prize out and more at gamesdonequick.com. And, while you're there, go to gamesdonequick.com/donate. Throw in a donation. Did you know that if we hit our milestone incentive of $77,777.77, phew, that's a lot of sevens, we are going to get our second bonus run of the event. And you know what? You want to see more marathon, don't you, folks? So get those donations in. We really appreciate everything that you all have been contributing. Whether you're just here in chat, hang out with us, whether you're cheering on the runners, whether you are donating. Thank you all so much. We can't do this without you. In fact, Isling here donates $25, calling out chat. Hey, chat, did you know? You're cute. Anyway, keep on rocking it. Samalot donates $25 saying, great runs for a great cause. You know what? I couldn't agree anymore. That is exactly what we are here. That's exactly what we're about here at Frost Fatales 2022. We still have a little bit of time before the next run, so I want to remind you all, by the way, I'm sure you've been cozy, got your drinks in, but if you need to, go get those stretches. Go get that hydration in. We want to make sure you're taking care of yourselves, as excited as we all are for these runs. So make sure you just give yourself a little bit of self-love, or you know what, a lot of self-love. I have another anonymous donation. Anonymous, you've been doing amazing this event. $5, but no comment. Thank you so much. Every little bit counts. And you know what? While I'm at it, I did mention cats earlier, right? Did I mention cats? Can I get some cats in chat? We've unlocked an amazing Faith Pop emote this event. And I would love to see those popping off in chat. So, could you make my day a little? Just like wake me up, get me popping off too? Okay, and I'm hearing word that we are ready for this next run, which, by the way, is going to be positively perfect. I'm just kidding around. Anyway, Eliza, whisker us away.